Wow, we're at chapter 10, one third nearly of the book. I have never understood graveyards or the point of visiting them. Even now, as someone whose whole life is so occult adjacent, I'm still alarmed by my own blind spot. The way I don't care about star signs, for example, or the fact that cemeteries have no profound effect on me. I've gone with my mum before to visit her mum and always come away from the experience feeling cold. Not in an eerie way, but in a way where you feel nothing at all. But now sitting in what feels like a mausoleum to Sister Assumptia, I get it. I get how a graveyard can be a reflecting pool of your own self-pity. That might sound cruel, but it's how I feel, like I can soak the misery of my evening in a dead nun's memory. I think of her on the day heaven arrived, a fresh, sensitive a scholarship kid, the girl who would bring the housekeeper to Kelbeg. The relief that Assumptia must have felt that somebody was going to take over, the excitement that a new sensitive had been nominated by the well, the joy that not only was heaven a witch, she was also a good person, a bright girl brimming with empathy and activism. The longer I sit here, the more I find myself resenting heaven's death. She would have been a great sensitive, an efficient warden of the well, strong and smart and in her late 40s. By the time the children came sniffing about, not tired like Sister Assumptia, not too young and too stupid and too selfish like me. Who could not even attend a Christmas party without ending in tears and screamed accusations and fits of blindness? I sit at the piano bench touching the keys, despising my own misery, but unable to remove myself from it. I was not supposed to be in this position. It was supposed to be heaven. It's not my fault that I was given a job that I'm too young for. It's a pit too steep to climb out of. Clumps of muddy reasoning falling away in my hands every time I reach upwards, until, of course, I smell smoke. I raise my nose to the air like a gun dog. Not another fire. Not tonight. Too much has happened, surely, for something else to happen tonight, but it's cigarette smoke, and it's coming from upstairs. I follow the smell up the stairs, and there's Aaron in an exact copy of the pose Rue and I found him in a few nights ago. Halfway out of the window, the metal pipes of the scaffolding still in place, the boards having collapsed. You couldn't sleep either then, he says. I guess not. Is Rue downstairs? No. Ah, I'm safe then. Oh, come on. You two are over all that now, aren't you? Aaron shrugs. Ask him. It's strange how him already feels foreign. It's them now, pronouns wise, I mean. Aaron pauses to consider this. Ask them, then he replies. Hey, can I have one, please? I don't smoke, but I feel so miserable that I'm doing anything to feel even slightly different. He holds out the box, and I lean against the window, lighting up uncertainly. Ugh, gross, I say, hating the taste, but continuing anyway. What's eating you then? I went to a party tonight with the girls, and well, it happened again. The eyes a girl I got angry at went blind. What? Are you serious? He replies urgently, and I'm grateful for his disbelief. Fiona and Lily were so casual about Holly that I was starting to wonder if I was going insane. Maybe they didn't see her eyes like I did. Maybe it wasn't clear in the dark, and in confusion I nod. I got into a fight with her, and her eyes just went white. He looks at me then, his eyes blue, with the tiniest flecks of rust brown. I can feel his gaze move to each feature individually, my eyes, my nose, my mouth. He looks at me for so long that his cigarette starts to burn down to his fingers. What? I say, and I'm suddenly extremely aware of how alone we are and how late it is. How anything that happens between us would be just that, between us, and I'm suddenly driven by the notion that something could happen. I could even instigate it. It's exactly the kind of disaster you imagine, just because it's possible. Like throwing your phone out of the window or jumping off a cliff. You look over the edge and think, it could certainly be terrible if I had the sudden compulsion to jump, and you wonder if the thought itself is the compulsion. What, Aaron? He keeps looking. There's sudden warmth, a charge, a thing, a flicker of I wonder what it might be like to kiss someone different, someone not Rue. In that split second, that's who Aaron is, just some other blonde boy. I am suddenly horrified by myself in the implicit betrayal of my own thoughts. For a moment I think he's going to move towards me and jump up from the window, jangling with nerves and leftover vodka. Don't, I snap, moving towards the center of the room. What? He replies, genuinely confused. Then he realizes. Oh, for God's sake, Maeve, grow up. I wasn't going to touch you. He says the word touch like it's poison, like it's a nasty, vulgar thing, synonymous with bodily fluids and squalor. Don't make out like I'm crazy just because I interpreted you acting creepy with you wanting to do a creepy thing. I snapped. That's only I can't think of the word. The word for making someone think they are crazy. That's firelighting. You mean gaslighting. Look, you are doing it again. Maeve, shut up, will you? He stubs his cigarette out. I think, look, I don't want to worry you. Well, good job on that one, I answered sarcastically. It's clear to me that this conversation would be going better if I wasn't still slightly drunk. I think you are changing, he says at last. I think something is happening to you. I step backward, the back of my knee hitting off the table. What do you mean? I don't know what I mean. That's why I was looking at you just now. Maybe it's because I went away for a while and came back. So I am the only one who notices. The others have been too close, or maybe it's because I am the sensitive. I don't know, but something has changed, like fundamentally something in your body. I instinctively shielded my torso with my arms, uncomfortable at the mention of my body. Aaron shakes his head. No, not your body. I mean your atoms. You are the same, but you are like molecularly different. You are scaring me, he is saying, this all with such certainty that I can feel panic rising up through my stomach, cooking my insides. That's why I wasn't going to say anything. What, you were just going to stare at me like a rapist? Holy hell, can you just... Then we both stopped. There is a noise, almost animal, and it's coming from somewhere else in the building, from underneath us. But unlike the other night, when Rue and I heard all the bashing around, this is more mournful. It's the sound of grief. Someone is crying, Aaron says. We creep out onto the landing. Ears cocked. It's a woman, I whisper. It has a strange heaving tenor, the sound of someone who has been crying for a long time and does not know how to stop. We descend the stairs and find ourselves outside 2A. The cries leaking through the doors, closed doors, the brass handle visually quavering with stress. You can hear the screams rattling in the setting, torment vibrating through them. Aaron and I exchange a look. I feel the odd jangle of our sensitivity, the sense that we are both intuiting the same thing. This is not a present-day cry. This is something that is echoing, something years old, a trapped memory in the walls of the old building. Do you have any experience, I say quietly, with ghosts? Ghosts, he ponders in a whisper. No, not ghosts, demons, but not ghosts. You? Sister Assumptia died in this building. She was a powerful sensitive. Maybe she's come back. I never met her. Will she be, a friendly ghost? I think about this before answering. Probably she wasn't all there, if you know what I mean. Kind of, but not all there. But, well, she's very here and now, Aaron says, his gaze fixed on the vibrating door handle. Come on then, I reply, and decide in one fluid motion to open the door and confront the trapped spirit of Sister Assumptia. When you are expecting a ghost, anything that is not a ghost feels like an anticlimax. Perhaps that's why Aaron and I don't react when we enter the space that was once 2A. We just look and walk. Our feet are loud, the way your steps sound in a museum. And slowly we realize that while we may not be confronting the ghost of a person, we are witnessing the ghost of a place. The boxy room that was 2A is now long, wide hallway. There are pictures on every side, no windows in sight. Maybe too much neutral light harms the paint. Maybe this is the place where you put things you don't want anyone to see. My eyes scan each frame. All portraits, all people who are wigged, coiffed and steeped in a strange alien look of the past. Where are we? Aaron finally says. I think we are at St. Bernadette's, but like a long time ago. We specifically said ghosts, he says to the walls. I did not sign up for time travel. I stand in front of one of the portraits, a girl with black hair, a pink dress and a parasol to match. Aaron is gazing at the picture opposite. It's a man with a musket and a dog at his side. The only thing that remains from the real world is the sound of crying. The only door in the room is at the other end of the long corridor. The only way out is forward. We pass the paintings, the lacquered furniture. All of it is too small, too fuzzy. I notice the vague, itchy sound of fragile ticking and follow it to the golden carriage clock. Sitting smugly on the mantelpiece, Aaron picks it up. "This is real gold," he says. "We could take this back and sell it." In terms of ideas that sound instantly stupid, that one is right up there with building a house on the ancient burial ground. He scolds, putting the clock back in its place. I wasn't going to actually do it. We reach the end of the corridor where the crying is at its loudest. Next to the door is another portrait, and it's the only one we both recognize. White dress, dog at her side, the faraway, slightly inhuman expression. The housekeeper here to greet us. "You can see her too?" Aaron murmurs. I nod, and we are both lost in her for another silent appraisal. "At last," I say finally. "We've been waiting for her all this time, and now here she is." I step forward, touch the oil. "She's been around a long time, hasn't she?" "Yup," Aaron says. "Maybe that's why she hasn't come for us yet. Maybe she's tired. Maybe she's dead. Don't get your hopes up, Chambers. Hope is dangerous." I step back from the painting and my vision blurs a little, the way it does when you pull a magic eye picture slowly away. I don't know what a magic eye picture is. She seems three-dimensional, briefly, like she's popping out of the frame. I shake my head and turn my attention to the door at the end of the corridor. "Are you ready?" I ask. "Ready for what?" "Ready for whatever's on the other side of this door." Something tells me that it doesn't matter whether I am ready, he says. Things tend to happen whether I'm ready or not. I open the door, ready to expect anything, and see another longer corridor stretching out before us. It's another halfway, another room, built merely to connect rooms. But the style couldn't be more different. It's obviously modern, threadbare carpet in emerald green, long lines of doors on either side. It's like a nightmare. I go always in a corridor with doors on the side. So that's what this story brings back for me. We haven't stepped through yet. We merely observe from the safe grandeur of the portrait corridor, hesitant. "Look," Aaron says, pointing to many doors. "Look on the handles. There are little key cards, readers. It's a hotel." "It's the lodge," I replied. There is the brief moment of contemplation, of wondering whether we should turn back, tell the gang, form a plan. But if we turn back now, we turn back with essentially no new information and with no confirmation that this portal will open again. I feel Aaron mulling it over, the connecting wire of sensitivity crackling with static. "Some of those kids," he says finally, "are in there because of me." He doesn't need to say anything else. He won't be turning back, and so I can't either. And that was chapter 10. Take care, and I'll see you in chapter 11.